Heartwarming discovery, single dad's kindness to a crying girl exposed as life-changing for both. Jack hadn't planned on making a difference today. He was just a single dad, worn down and feeling the weight of the world. As he picked Mia up from school on that beautiful autumn afternoon, the sun beamed brightly, casting golden hues on the vibrant oranges and reds of the leaves. The laughter of children echoed around him, but his heart was heavy from long hours at the hardware store and the unease of bills piling up. Just as he reached for Mia's hand, he spotted her, a small figure on a cold metal bench, face streaked with tears. It was 9-year-old Lily, kneeling beside her. Jack's heart ached. "Hey there, sweetie. What's wrong?" he asked, his voice gentle and full of warmth. The moment she opened her mouth, the dam broke. "It's my dad. He's overseas, and I feel abandoned." Each word hung in the air, as heavy as the clouds before a storm. Jack felt a tightness in his chest. Here was a child, grieving, longing for her father. He understood that pain all too well. "I lost my wife a few years ago," he shared softly, "and it wasn't easy. But I believe that kindness, even in little moments, can make a difference." They spoke, sharing stories that created a spark of hope. Jack's eyes shone as he recounted how his wife had taught him that families aren't just about blood, they're about love, connection, and support. Before he even realized it, Jack was extending an invitation. "How about you join us for dinner tonight? Mia would love to have you." A tentative smile broke across Lily's tear-stained face, and suddenly the world didn't seem so heavy. It felt lighter, filled with possibility. In the days that followed, a remarkable transformation took place. The neighborhood buzzed with activity as families rallied around them. Lawn signs popped up, kids gathered toys, parents filled Jack's kitchen with warm meals, and laughter danced like the leaves swirling in the crisp air. Mia and Lily grew inseparable, bridging their wounds through shared moments, creating a small makeshift family that felt whole. But just as Jack dared to hope, Sarah appeared, their presence a storm on the horizon. Lily's mother, emotions radiating like a thundercloud. She stormed into Jack's life, her resentment palpable as she confronted him about stepping into a role that she believed was hers alone. Jack stood there, feeling like an anchor in a storm, the weight of her judgment pressing down. He swallowed hard, determined to protect the newfound family that was forming. "I care about that little girl," he responded, his voice steady despite the quaking in his heart. "I don't need you here," she spat back, anger slicing the air. But Jack wouldn't be swayed. It wasn't just about him, it was about Mia and Lily, about showing them that families could be made of love, not just biology. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the community prepared for the annual Harvest Festival, a celebration of love and togetherness, Jack felt a vortex of anxiety spinning in his stomach. Would he confront Sarah? Could he protect the fragile bonds they had created? The festival loomed like a test, a chance to stand tall against judgment while celebrating the warmth of chosen family. But could they weather the storm, together? Jack took a deep breath, knowing that the hours ahead would either strengthen them or shatter hope in an instant. As he prepared, determination flooded through him. This was just the beginning. As the day of the Harvest Festival dawned, the sky was a brilliant blue, dotted with fluffy white clouds. Jack stood in front of his house, feeling the crispness of the autumn air on his face. The decorations they had hung the night before, a whirlwind of vibrant pumpkins, cornstalks, and lights, looked alive, shimmering with anticipation. Mia and Lily rushed out of the house, dressed in matching orange shirts decorated with cheerful jack-o'-lanterns. The sight filled him with a warmth he hadn't felt in a long time. They giggled and spun around, their laughter ringing out like music, lifting the heaviness that clung to him. Jack couldn't help but smile. "Dad, can we get cotton candy first?" Mia begged, her eyes wide with excitement. "And popcorn." Lily chimed in, bouncing on her toes. "All right, cotton candy and popcorn it is," he replied, "but we've got to stick together." As they made their way down the street, the sounds of the festival grew louder. Music, laughter, and the tantalizing smell of roasted corn filled the air. The community park was alive with families celebrating, but Jack couldn't shake the dread swirling inside him. He knew Sarah would be there. Would she confront him again? He took a deep breath, focusing on the girls and their joy, but the shadows of doubt lingered. As they reached the entrance, Jack's heartbeat quickened. Brightly colored tents offered games, crafts, and treats, but his focus remained on keeping the girls close. They filled their plates, giggling over sticky fingers and sweet treats. For a moment, everything felt perfect, their laughter harmonizing with the music surrounding them. Suddenly, a familiar voice cut through the festivities. "Jack!" He turned to see Sarah striding toward him, her expression unreadable. The laughter of the girls faded into cautious whispers as they stopped, glancing up at him with worry. Jack's heart raced. Here it was, the confrontation he had dreaded. "Can we talk?" Sarah's voice was calm, but her eyes stormy, like dark clouds threatening rain. Mia stepped closer to Lily, and Jack felt the instinct to shield them both. "I think we should," he replied, keeping his tone steady. The last thing he wanted was to scare the girls. That he led Sarah a few paces away, near a quieter corner of the festival. "Look, I understand you're upset," Jack began, trying his best to maintain composure. "But I'm just trying to support Lily. She needs love and comfort right now." Sarah clenched her jaw, crossing her arms tightly. "You think you can just step in and replace me?" "She's my daughter." "No one is replacing anyone," Jack said, his voice softening. "I care about Lily. I care about Mia. Family isn't just about blood, it's about who's there in the moments that matter." For a brief moment, surprise flickered across her face, maybe even a hint of understanding. But then, her expression hardened again, and she pushed past him. "Stay away from her," she snapped, moving back toward the crowd. Jack felt defeated, a wave of uncertainty crashing over him. The weight of her words echoed in his mind. But then, he spotted Mia and Lily running towards him, their smiles bright like the sunshine breaking through clouds. "Dad! Let us go on the Ferris wheel." They tugged at his hands, pulling him back into the joyful chaos of the festival. In that moment, their shared happiness became a shield against the storm brewing around them. As they climbed into the small basket of the Ferris wheel, Jack could see the entire park sprawling below, a tapestry of love, laughter, and togetherness. At that moment, all he wanted to do was protect what they had built, come what may. But just as the ride reached its peak, Jack noticed Sarah watching from the edge, her expression unreadable. There was a heaviness in the air, a question looming, and Jack realized that this wasn't over. What would it take to set things right? Would Sarah come to understand the family they were forming was not a threat, but an extension of love? He took a deep breath as they began their descent, feeling the weight of the moment. The festival might be a celebration, but this battle for love and acceptance was just beginning. The Ferris wheel creaked gently as it lowered them down, the vibrant colors of the festival stretching out like a patchwork quilt. Jack glanced over at Mia and Lily, their excitement palpable as they chattered about what ride to try next. Their laughter felt like a soothing balm, pushing away the confrontation with Sarah, if only for a little while, but even as he smiled back at them, he felt a knot of worry tighten in his chest. He couldn't shake the feeling that Sarah's words had dug deep, echoing through his mind like a distant thunder. He wanted to prove to her and to himself that he could be a good father figure to Lily. Yet, how could he succeed when it felt like he was constantly standing on a shaky bridge? Once the ride ended, Jack ushered the girls toward a colorful booth offering face painting. "You guys want to be superheroes or animals?" His attempt at lightheartedness felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. "Superheroes," they both shouted in unison, their hands waving enthusiastically. As they moved to the front of the line, Jack noticed a little girl standing alone, her face streaked with tears. Her dress, once adorned with bright butterflies, now seemed dulled by sadness. Jack's heart ached for her. He bent down, speaking gently. "Hey there, what's wrong?" She sniffled, wiping a tear with the back of her hand. "I lost my balloon." Her voice trembled, breaking Jack's heart all over again. Without thinking, he pulled a few crumpled bills from his pocket and pointed toward the balloon stand across the way. "How about we get you a new one?" The girl's eyes widened, hope flickering across her small face. "Really? Of course. I can't have a superhero without a balloon, can I?" Jack grinned, gesturing for her to follow him. As they walked through the crowd, hand in hand, Jack felt lightness in his heart. For once, he wasn't battling his own feelings but doing something good for someone else. What started as a small act, a token of kindness, seemed to ripple, and he couldn't help but notice how the girl began to smile, her sadness fading into the background. Mia and Lily caught up, their paint-drenched faces beaming with joy. "Dad! Who's this?" Mia asked, her head tilting curiously. "This is my new friend," Jack said, kneeling so he was eye level with both his daughters and the girl. "She's going to help us choose the biggest balloon. You should pick pink. Pink is the best," Lily shouted. Their laughter mixed, the sound filling the air like music. For a moment, it felt like time stood still, the world outside the festival unimportant. Family wasn't always blood, it could also be the bonds formed in unforeseen moments that felt right. As they reached the balloon stand, Jack noticed Sarah watching from a distance, arms crossed again. The stormy look in her eyes hadn't softened, but something inside Jack shifted. Could this simple act of kindness bridge a gap? Would it change how she saw him? While the little girl chose a gigantic pink balloon, Jack's hand instinctively reached for Mia's and Lily's. He wished he could share this moment with Sarah. He longed for her to understand that their little family was open to growth, to love. Could they invite her into this fold? Just then, the girl bounced up and down, clutching her balloon tightly, and Jack felt a sense of joy swell within him. He watched her, then looked back toward Sarah. Something had to change, whether it meant extending his hand to Sarah or finding ways to reach out. "Sarah!" he called out, uncertain yet determined. Would she hear the invitation in his voice, or would she turn away again, carrying her doubts like shadows? The tension in the air felt electric as the festival continued to buzz around them, pausing momentarily as if waiting to see how the story would unfold. Jack took another deep breath, ready to step into the unknown. Would this be the moment of breakthrough, or another obstacle they'd have to face in their journey to become a new family? Jack watched Sarah carefully, his heart pounding. He saw the way her expression shifted slightly, uncertainty breaking through the storm. It was a complex mix of emotions, something just shy of hope tugging at her features. "Do you want to come say hi?" Jack called out again, his voice steadier now. He took a step toward her, hoping to bridge the distance between them. The little girl by his side tugged at her balloon, the vibrant pink bobbing in the breeze and capturing attention like a beacon of light. For a moment, Sarah stood still, caught in a whirlwind of thoughts. He could see her weighing the situation. Should she let her guard down? Would this feigned act of camaraderie be enough to change their unspoken tension? "Come on, Sarah!" Mia chimed in, her innocent enthusiasm blending with the soft sounds of laughter all around. "The girl needs more superhero friends." With that encouragement, Sarah finally moved, her feet gliding over the grass until she joined them. Jack's heart raced as relief washed over him like a wave, but he wasn't ready to assume it was a happy reunion. "Hi," Sarah greeted, her voice uncertain as she glanced at the little girl, then back to Jack, her eyes narrowing. "What's going on?" "This is our new friend. She lost her balloon, so we're picking her a new one," Jack replied, hoping the warmth in his tone would melt some of Sarah's ice. "Yeah. It's gonna be the biggest balloon," the girl exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. The corner of Sarah's mouth twitched, almost imperceptibly. The tension crackled, showing signs of muting, but not completely. Jack felt a flicker of hope, fighting to break free of the darkness. Sarah, he stopped, gathering his courage. I wanted to show you that I can be a part of Lily's life, that I want to be a real father figure. Sarah's expression hardened again, her walls snapping back in place. You think a balloon and a few smiles are going to change everything? It's not that simple, Jack. The girls, oblivious to the adult tensions, began to chatter excitedly about what color balloon to choose. Jack wished he could shield them from this moment, cocoon them in their joy while he tackled the complexities of being an adult. I know it's not simple, he managed to respond, an edge of frustration creeping in. But it's a start. We can build from here. I'll keep trying, I promise. A flicker of curiosity crossed Sarah's face, quickly quashed by doubt. Trying isn't enough. You have to show me you're in it for the long run. The challenge hung between them, stark and harsh against the backdrop of laughter and lights. The little girl tugged at Jack's shirt. Can we pick the balloon now? Please. Jack nodded, redirecting his focus back to her. Absolutely. As they walked away from Sarah, he felt the weight of her words settle uncomfortably in the pit of his stomach. The encounter had left him with more questions than before. Could he really change her mind? Lily and Mia erupted into laughter, spinning and twirling, joy poured around them like confetti. But Jack's heart raced with an unyielding urgency. How could he rally that energy into proving Sarah wrong? Suddenly, the booming music of a nearby band broke his reverie, blending into the waves of sound engulfing the festival. Who knew what joy awaited just around the corner? Are you ready to be a superhero? He asked the girls. They nodded eagerly, their balloon floating above like a symbol of hope. Just then, a warm gust of wind blew across Jack's face, carrying with it laughter, excitement, and the unmistakable hint of possibility. But in that moment of lightness, he couldn't shake Sarah's challenge. Did he have what it took to transform the gaps, the fears, and the doubts into something strong? As they approached the grand carousel, surrounded by bright lights and cheerful music, Jack felt the familiar tightness in his chest again. What would it take to mend the fractures in their fragile lives? Without realizing it, Jack realized they were moving closer to an uncertain future, teetering on the edge of change. What would be the next step? Would Sarah allow him to bridge the gap, or would it only widen? Jack led the way to the carousel, the cheerful colors swirled around him, a kaleidoscope of vibrant hope. The music swelled, creating a layer of excitement that wrapped around them like a warm blanket. Mia and Lily bounced on their toes, exchanging giggles as they pointed to the dazzling horses. For a moment, Jack let himself get swept up in their joy, but memories of Sarah's firm words echoed in his mind, pulling him back. In it for the long run. What did that even mean? Part of him wanted to shout, to argue that he had plans, ideas. But the deeper truth was, could he? Could he really set aside the mistakes of the past and step up? Look, Jack. That one. Lily exclaimed, her finger pointing to a majestic white horse adorned with shimmering stars. Her eyes sparkled with excitement, and for a fleeting moment, Jack felt that familiar surge of protection and love. Good choice. Jack smiled, but a flicker of doubt kept gnawing at him. His gaze drifted over to Sarah, who stood a few paces away, arms crossed, watching them. Her body language was closed off, a silent fortress that warned him to keep his distance. Lily, you want to ride with me? He asked, squatting down to her level. She nodded eagerly, her golden curls bouncing with excitement. As the carousel spun to life, the sounds of children laughing and the music blending into a beautiful chaotic melody, Jack briefly caught Sarah's eye. For just a moment, her expression softened. He saw something unguarded, a flash of vulnerability that vanished as quickly as it appeared. Could it be that underneath all that protective armor, she wanted the same connection he did? The thought ignited a small flame of optimism in his chest, but doubt stomped it down hard. He couldn't just hope. He had to act. "Hey, Sarah." He called out, trying to keep his tone light yet earnest. "You should join us. It could be fun." She looked at him, brows knitting together, a brief flash of surprise crossing her face. Jack's heart raced. He didn't want to push too hard, but the idea of bringing her into their world felt essential. "No thanks," she replied curtly, but the slight tremor in her voice gave him pause. Mia tugged at Jack's sleeve, interrupting his resolve. "Can I ride that one?" she squealed, pointing to another colorful horse. The innocence of her request pulled him momentarily away from the intensity of the moment with Sarah. "Sure thing, superhero." Jack smiled back, but as he helped Mia up onto the horse, his gaze flickered over to Sarah again. He remained aware of her lurking presence, like a storm cloud hovering on the periphery. The carousel whirled, and he couldn't block out her challenge nor the urge to ease the tension. There had to be some moment, some word that could break through and create that connection. After the ride, the girls bounded off, chattering feverishly about the next adventure. Jack watched them, the laughter a sweet melody, yet his attention was drawn back to Sarah. She hadn't moved from her spot, her arms still crossed, yet her eyes gave him a different story. What if Jack hesitated, feeling the weight of everything between them? "What if I shared the time with you and Lily? Maybe you could be part of that." Sarah stole a glance at Lily, who was currently trying to chase a butterfly. "You think I'm just going to jump in, Jack?" "It's not that easy. No, it's not easy," he said quickly, his heart thrumming in his chest. "But I'm willing to fight for it. To show you I mean it." The silence that followed was thick, charged, filled with the tension of everything unsaid. For that instant, the laughter and music faded away, leaving only the two of them suspended in a moment that felt critical. What would she say? As Sarah opened her mouth, he could feel the electric charge between them building, anticipation dancing in the air. Would she accept his offer, or would she solidify the walls that separated them? Everything inside him wanted her to break through, to trust him one step. But would she take that leap with him, or was he just dreaming? In that space of uncertainty, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that everything hinged on her response. What if, he whispered, holding his breath, there was a chance that this was just the beginning? The moment hung in the air, thick with unspoken words. Jack felt his heart race, the sounds of the carnival fading into a dull background hum. Sarah's gaze wavered, searching his face as if trying to decipher his intent. Jack prayed that she saw honesty in his eyes, that she felt the truth of his offer. "I don't know, Jack." Her voice was barely above a whisper, flickering with uncertainty. Just then, Mia's laughter rang out, a clear, bright sound that cut through the tension. The innocence of it reminded Jack what mattered most, their daughters. "Simon, Sarah," he urged, his own nervousness peeking through the casual tone. "What do you have to lose? I can't change the past, but we can create a future. Together." Sarah's brow tightened as she wrestled with the weight of his words. He held her gaze, hoping the sincerity flowing from him reached her hidden worries. She didn't know how to take in his message. Was he really ready to embrace this challenge? Instead of backing down, Jack took a tentative step forward, driven by the impulse to reach for connection. "I know you're scared. I am too. But it's the fear that shouldn't keep us apart. Just let us in. Let me in." With that, the carousel slowed, the vibrant horses coming to halt. The music quieted, leaving just the sound of children's excited whispers beside them. In this moment, surrounded by the chaos of the carnival, they were frozen in a bubble, the world outside fading, leaving only their hopes and fears. Lily danced back to Jack, her tiny hands clutching a stuffed dolphin she had just won. "Look what I got!" she exclaimed, her face alight with joy. It pierced through the tension, grounding them in the present. "See?" Jack said with a forced smile, kneeling beside her. "Even little ones find happiness when we share something special." Sarah's lips curved slightly at the edges, a hint of a smile. But that spark was overshadowed by the doubt in her eyes. "Jack, I've built walls for a reason. It's not just about today or this moment," she said carefully, holding back the walls she built for protection. "You don't know what you're asking for." "Maybe not," Jack replied softly, his voice steady. "But I need to know if you can trust me. If we can trust each other. I want you to be part of this. Even with the mess and the history." Another beat of silence pulsed between them. Jack could sense her indecision, the flicker of hope battling against the heavy fear. A part of him worried she'd turn her back again, returning to that fortress filled with bricks of her past. Just when he thought she might retreat, Sarah inhaled deeply, her expression shifting. "What if I don't know how to let you in?" That question hung heavy, brimming with vulnerability. It struck Jack deep, the shared uncertainty resonating between them. He felt the walls crumbling slowly, the tiniest crack appearing in her defenses. "Then we take it one day at a time, one moment at a time," he said softly, the warmth of sincerity enveloping them like sunlight breaking through clouds. "There's no rush. Just be open. With me, with yourself. We can figure this out together." In her eyes, he saw wavering hope, a glimmer of something that felt like possibility. He could almost sense her debating within, teetering on the edge of taking that leap of faith, and then, in a heartbeat, her facade fell just a bit, a crack that invited the warmth of his promise. But would it be enough? Lily tugged at Sarah's hand, her spirits blissfully unaware of the weighty exchange. "Can we go again? It was so much fun." Sarah glanced down at her daughter, and in that brief moment of maternal instinct, something shifted further inside her. What had been a lifetime of hesitation began to ebb away, the smallest hint of a smile breaking free at the corners of her lips. "Yes, let us do it again," she finally replied, her voice laced with newfound resolve. The words seemed to echo not just for the ride, but for something deeper that lay ahead. Jack felt a thrill of excitement. Maybe this really was the beginning of something better for them all. He offered her a small smile, a silent agreement to keep moving forward together. As they drifted back to the carousel, the sounds of laughter and brightly colored lights swirling around them once more, Jack's heart raced with a mix of anticipation and hope. And just as the carousel began to spin again, with shadows of their past still looming, he couldn't help but wonder, was this a step toward healing, or just the calm before a storm? Would they truly be able to unravel the complexities of their hearts, or was this a ride destined to crash? Jack watched as the carousel resumed its lively spin, the brightly painted horses galloping up and down. The air filled with cheerful music, but all he could focus on was the way Sarah's eyes glimmered with something he hadn't seen in so long: hope. Mia danced beneath the lights, her laughter shimmering in the air like the confetti scattered around them. But within him, uncertainty brewed. Each turn of the carousel felt symbolic, making him question if they could really break from the past together, or if the ride was destined to stall. As they moved together, Jack's hand brushing against Sarah's, he felt the warmth of connection begin to spark. It was small, but it pulsed with potential. He glanced at Lily, whose face was a mixture of pure glee and wonder as the world around her spun. "Close your eyes, Lily. Imagine who you'll be when the ride stops," Sarah called, joining in on the excitement. Lily obeyed like the trusting child she was, squeezing her eyes shut tight. Jack marveled at how easily Sarah slipped into a playful role, brushing aside her worries, even if just for a moment, but as the ride slowed, Jack's heart began to race. The shadows of their past loomed large again. Just when he thought they might break the surface together, the weight of reality crashed in. What if, when the joy faded, the walls Sarah built would rise again? After they dismounted, Lily raced towards the nearest carnival game, dragging Sarah along. Jack followed closely behind, trying to dispel the heaviness creeping in. He had wanted today to be a turning point, a sign they were stronger together. But did that hope come too soon? "Can we play that one?" Lily pointed to a game under a giant stuffed teddy bear. The booth operator wore a wide smile, and the colorful plush toys seemed to glimmer with the possibility of victories. "Sure, Lil," Sarah replied, her voice lighter, bringing a smile to Jack's face. Jack stepped closer to Sarah as they waited for their turn. "That's a great choice. She loves bears, huh?" he said, trying to keep the conversation going. "Yeah, she does," Sarah smiled faintly, but a cloud of uncertainty still lingered in her eyes. "Sarah," Jack said, lowering his voice. "I know you have your reservations. I don't want to push you. But I really believe we can build something special. I'm here, ready to try." Her gaze met his, and for a moment, Jack could see the truth behind the doubt. "I just need time, Jack. I hope you understand that. These walls, they're not easy to tear down. I'll wait as long as it takes," he said earnestly. "A chance at a future with you and Lily is worth it." The game began, and laughter erupted as Lily cheered for her mom to win. Jack's heart swelled, the sound reminding him of all they had to gain. He realized that while today filled him with hope, the path would be complicated. As Sarah played, something shifted inside him. He wasn't just feeling hopeful, he felt a sense of determination to show her that love could heal even the deepest wounds. It might not be immediate, and the fears of the past would linger, but he wanted to prove they were worth fighting for. When she missed her throw, Jack chimed in, "Don't worry. The next one's a win, I can feel it." She turned, the doubt slightly melting away as a smile broke through. But just as her laughter rang clear, a familiar face emerged from the crowd, someone from Sarah's past, someone who could change everything. "Look who it is," Jack murmured, his stomach nodding. What would this encounter mean for Sarah's decision to open her heart? He held his breath, waiting for the story to unfold. Would this be a chance for understanding or a sudden setback? Jack's heart raced as the familiar figure made its way through the bustling carnival crowd. It was a face he'd seen in faded photographs, reminders of happier times intertwined with shadows of old wounds. Sarah stiffened at his side, her smile fading as recognition flickered across her features. "Jake," she whispered, barely audible over the festive music. Jack knew instantly that this was someone from her past, someone who mattered. "Is that your ex?" Jack's voice came out low, edged with a mix of curiosity and concern. Sarah nodded, her eyes wide, grappling with disbelief. "I didn't know he would be here." "It's been so long." Lily bounced in place, oblivious to the tension, her eyes sparkling with the bright lights of the carnival. "Mommy, look at the teddy bear." Jack's chest tightened as he felt the distance growing between him and Sarah, punctuated by the figure approaching them. Jake was confident, wearing that relaxed smile that Jack had seen etched on Sarah's face when she was still in love. "Hey, Sarah. Long time no see," Jake said, his tone casual, as if they had merely bumped into each other on the street rather than a carnival. "Yeah, it has," Sarah stammered, glancing at Jack, who stood still, absorbing the scene. "You look good. And who's this little lady?" Jake crouched down to Lily's eye level, his smile widening. Jack felt an urge to step forward, to reclaim the space that scarred memories threatened to take. Jack cleared his throat. "This is Lily," he said, his protective instinct kicking in. "She's Sarah's daughter." Lily, bursting with excitement, interjected, "We just played a game and I'm going to win a teddy bear." "Oh, is that so?" Jake's charm was palpable, but Jack could sense the tension simmering beneath the surface. As Lily enthusiastically recounted the story of their adventure, Sarah's gaze flickered back to Jake. Jack felt the air turn thick, almost suffocating, as doubts surfaced. This wasn't just a chance meeting, this was a confrontation with the past, and Jack wasn't sure if Sarah was ready to face it or him. "I was just in town for a few days," Jake continued, his casual demeanor wearing thin. "Thought I'd check out the sights. This place really hasn't changed much." "Right." Sarah's voice was caught somewhere between discomfort and nostalgia. "It's still the same chaos." In that moment, Jack regretted not having taken Sarah's walls down more forcefully. Would she let this man back in, tempting her with fragments of a shared past? maybe we could grab a coffee sometime. Jake suggested lightly, the casual invite hanging in the air like a fragile balloon, just waiting to pop. Jack clenched his jaw, searching Sarah's expression. She was torn, caught in a moment where lingering feelings clashed loudly with their fragile new beginning. Before she could reply, Lily pulled on Sarah's arm. "Mom! Can we go play more games?" The question shattered the weight of the moment. Sarah blinked, as if waking from a dream, and forced a smile for their daughter. "Sure, sweetheart. Just a minute." Jake, momentarily forgotten, watched them both intently. The split second stretched into eternity, Jack regretting the uncertainty in Sarah's eyes. Finally, she turned back to Jake, her tone softer. "Maybe. I'll think about it." "Good to see you, Sarah," he said, his voice echoing with unfinished sentiment. "Take care of yourself." As they turned to walk away, Jack's heart hammered against his ribs. He felt the distance again, thicker than before. Would she look back? Would she reconsider? But as they joined the thrumming energy of the carnival, Jack squeezed her hand, feeling that flicker of connection reaffirming their bond. "Do you want to talk about it?" Sarah shook her head, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "Not yet. Right now, I just want Lily to be happy." Jack nodded, knowing deep down that the path ahead could be uneasy. He would do everything he could to support Sarah, but Jake was still a ghost lurking in the shadows, waiting to reclaim his place. As laughter erupted from Lily ahead, Jack felt a mix of determination and dread. How could they truly move forward if the past was already waiting for them at every turn? And just like that, amidst the laughter and spinning lights, a final thought hit him. Could their newfound hope withstand the challenges ahead, or would Jake's reappearance unravel everything? The sounds of laughter and carnival music faded into the background as Jack led Sarah and Lily away from the encounter with Jake. The colorful lights twinkled around them, but the joy felt distant. He held Sarah's hand tightly, sensing her uncertainty mixed with something deeper, pain, perhaps, or unease over unresolved feelings. "Mommy, let us go on the Ferris wheel," Lily exclaimed, her voice bubbling with excitement. The child tugged at her mother's arm, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Yeah, the Ferris wheel sounds fun," Jack agreed, trying to knock the heavy atmosphere off their shoulders. It wasn't easy, but they needed a distraction. Lily was full of life, and he didn't want her to feel the shadows that lurked around them. As they made their way, Sarah stayed quiet, apparently lost in thought. Jack stole glances at her face, registering the twitch of her lips and the occasional furrow of her brow. He wanted to reach out, to comfort her, but something about her demeanor suggested she needed space to process. Once they arrived at the Ferris wheel, Lily squealed and ran ahead, but Sarah lingered behind, clutching the ticket in her hand. Jack could see her hesitation. "Sarah, are you sure you're okay?" he finally asked, his voice low and cautious. She let out a soft breath, staring at the colorful lights. "I didn't think I'd ever see him again," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "Jake, we had good times. But we also had bad times that I thought I left behind." Jack felt his heart tighten. She looked so small, standing just a few feet away. "You don't have to go through it alone," he said gently, stepping closer. "If you want to talk about it, I'm here." "He just swept back in like it was nothing," Sarah said, her voice thick with emotion. "I thought I was finally moving forward. And then he appears, and I get these flashes of our past." "What do you feel when you see him?" Jack asked plainly, wanting to help her face it instead of burying it. "Conflicted," she replied, letting the word hang in the air. "Happy and sad, all at once." He thought about that. It's okay to have mixed feelings. You don't have to ignore the good times, you just have to acknowledge the bad, too. Healing isn't a straight line, you know. Sarah finally looked up at him, and he could see the glimmer of tears in her eyes. "I wish it could be straightforward," she admitted, dissolving the little wall she had put up. But every memory comes with a weight. Just then, Lily returned, tugging on Sarah's hand with an impatience that was both adorable and grounding. "See Mommy. The Ferris wheel is waiting." In that moment, Jack saw the mother's love overshadowing the tension. He was reminded how precious these moments were, how important it was to focus on the now. Although the shadows of Jake loomed large, here was Lily innocent and full of life, wanting only to experience joy. As Jack and Sarah climbed aboard the Ferris wheel with their daughter, he felt the rising tension dissipate, at least for now. They soared upwards, and the ground fell away beneath them. The bright light sparkled below like stars spilled across the carnival floor, and for a few moments, laughter filled their little car. "Look, Mommy. We're so high!" Lily shouted, her voice a ringing chorus of joy. For a fleeting instant, Sarah's eyes lit up, and a genuine smile broke through the clouded remnants of her past. It was a beginning, but Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was far from over. As they reached the top of the wheel, a sudden chill swept through him. What would happen when they were back on the ground? Would Jake still be lingering? Would he pull Sarah back into his orbit? Jack held on to that moment, the sound of laughter echoing as the ride came to a gentle stop. The truth coursed through his veins, whatever lay ahead, decisions had to be made. He'd show Sarah just how much he believed in her, but deep down, a new concern gnawed at him: what if she chose wrong, again? The carnival lights swirled and faded as they climbed down from the ride, and the shadows of the past lurked even closer than before. Jack and Sarah stepped down from the Ferris wheel, the laughter of children still echoing in the air, but his heart felt like it was stuck somewhere high above, suspended in uncertainty. Lily skipped ahead, oblivious to the emotional maelstrom swirling between her parents. Jack glanced over at Sarah, who was scanning the crowd with worry etched across her face. "Are you okay?" he asked gently, not sure if he really wanted to know the answer. She sighed, pulling her gaze back to him. "I will be. It's just everything is stirring up feelings I thought I had dealt with." Jack could see an inner battle raging within her that made him ache for her. "You don't have to face this alone, you know." "I know," she replied, her voice thin like a whisper of wind. "It's just hard to let you in when the past feels so present." Before Jack could respond, a commotion erupted nearby. A crowd had gathered around a game booth, their laughter and cheers instantaneously infectious. Sarah smiled as Lily rushed toward it, her spirit untroubled. Jack took a step into the moment, knowing he had to follow her lead. "Let us join her," he suggested, feeling the tears in Sarah's eyes offer space for this distraction. As they walked toward the game, Jack kept his gaze fixed ahead, resisting the urge to glance back at the remnants of his concerns. There, in front of them, Lily raised her hands, practically vibrating with excitement as she shouted, "Look, Mom! Can I play? Please." "Of course, sweetheart," Sarah exclaimed, reveling in Lily's joy. Her spirit shone like a flickering candle, but Jack worried it might be extinguished by those looming shadows. He held his breath as they approached the booth, and as Lily played, the colors around him brightened. The operator was friendly, encouraging, and for the moment, everything felt right. Jack reached for Sarah's hand, intertwining their fingers, and felt a small and flickering promise of heat amid the cool air. "See, this is what life is about," he said quietly, watching Lily's delight. "Finding joy in the simple moments even when the past pushes against us." Sarah nodded, looking at their daughter with a mix of pride and an apprehensive glance toward the crowd. "You're right. Moments like this remind me why I need to keep moving forward." Lily's laughter surged loud, pulling Jack and Sarah back to the present, not simply a gateway to the past. "I won. Look!" Lily squealed, clutching a plush bear in her arms like a victorious trophy. "That's awesome, Lil," Jack said, his heart lightening, but as they turned to head away, Jack spotted him. Jake stood there, the confrontation unavoidable. Jack felt a twist in his stomach. "Don't," he whispered to Sarah, feeling her body tense beside him. "I'll be fine," she replied, but the determination was tempered by fear. "Sarah, I need to face this," she said, her voice thick with newfound resolve. Just like that, she walked toward Jake, who approached with an easy smile, unaware of the monumental weight of their reunion. Jack felt every pulse of uncertainty echo through his heart as he watched her. It was as if time suspended in a loop of possibility. Would she find comfort or fulfillment in the past, or in their shared present? "Hey!" Jake greeted her, extending an arm as though they were old friends. Jack felt the urge to step in, to shield Sarah from any heartbreak, but he held back, grinding his teeth and staying put near Lily. "I didn't think I'd run into you here. You look great." "Thanks," Sarah replied cautiously, inching a bit away, but clearly caught in the moment. "You too." Jack watched, clenching his fists, knowing he could leap forward to protect his family. But he also understood, Sarah needed to navigate her own past. "I see you've got a little princess with you," Jake continued, nodding toward Lily, who was busy examining her new toy. "How's it been since?" Sarah interrupted. "It's been a journey," her voice firm with the weight of unspoken commitment. "Mind if I ask how you're doing? I heard from a mutual friend about the changes in your life." Jake's approach dripped with sweetness, but each syllable felt razor-sharp. "Changes have been good," she stated, her tone resolute. "I'm building something special for Lily." For a fleeting moment, Jack felt proud. Sarah was standing her ground. "Good to hear. I was just curious. You know how it is." Jake's gaze drifted back toward Lily, but it settled too long on Sarah. In response, Jack stepped forward, stepping into what felt like a tight ring of scrutiny. "I think it's best if we focus on this moment," he said, keeping his voice calm and steady. "Lily's enjoying herself, and we're trying to celebrate that." "Who's this?" Jake asked coolly, his eyes narrowing subtly. "This is Jack," Sarah stated, her voice honest, filled with quiet strength. "He is someone who is someone cheerfully in our lives," Jack interjected, his protective nature resurfacing. He placed an arm lightly around Sarah's waist, feeling the slight shift in her posture. "Nice to meet you," Jake replied, but his smile was tight, rife with tension. Jack felt the air grow thick again. Old habits, old pains refusing to die quietly. "All right, by the way, which one of you will win the next game?" Jack attempted lightheartedness, feeling the strain in their atmosphere. He knew the pressure of expectation was tangible. "I will," Lily proclaimed, pulling at Jack, effectively diverting the tension. "Game on, superstar!" Jack exclaimed, drawing laughter amidst the fragile moods encircling them. As they walked away, Sarah leaned slightly into Jack's side, and he caught a glimpse of warmth in her smile. "Thank you for that. It helped." "Always," he replied knowingly. "And it's not just about moving on, it's about choosing the right path forward, too," she murmured. "Together," Jack affirmed. "Together we'll navigate these roads. It's all an adventure." Just then, Sarah's eyes brightened, and Jack could see it. In her gaze, he felt the flickers of hope and courage. "Yes, an adventure," she echoed, her heart slowly returning to the warmth of connection they had built together, and as they stepped forward into the bustling atmosphere of the carnival, hand in hand with Lily, it felt like the shadows were finally releasing their grip. The vibrant sounds of laughter swirled around them, sparking the start of a beautiful transformation not just for Sarah, but for all of them. Right then, Jack knew that love could conquer fear. Jack's heart emblematic of determination, he squeezed Sarah's hand tighter, and in that moment, he knew they were no longer trying to face the past, but embracing a future woven with dreams, courage, and above all, family. Now, dear friends, this is the moment you need to be a part of this journey. You want to support this channel, so subscribe immediately to not miss our next exclusive stories that inspire and uplift. Hit that like button now, yes, right at this moment, to feed our algorithm and show your support. Tell us your thoughts in the comments. We eagerly await to hear your reactions and feelings about this episode. And don't just keep this transformation to yourself, share this video with at least 5 friends who could use a little warmth in their lives. Don't wait not even one more second to make a difference. True fans understand the importance of joining this adventure together.